Bruce Schneier's Data and Goliath is a riveting expose of the data privacy concerns in the world today. Schneier shares an up-close and personal view of the dangers that securitization can bring. Amazon, Google, and WebMD collect our data and use it in assortment ways. He also demonstrates how the government is abusing our privacy rights. Schneier actually looks for a positive future where we can share our data and use our data without losing our privacy rights. I enjoyed reading this book for many reasons. I had a hunch that cyber criminals can get into your computers and take over your cameras. I did not know for sure that they could turn off your indicator light. And when I read it in the book, I knew it. I knew that they could. The sad part is I fell victim to the same thing that everyone falls victim to, and I let my guard down. This book has renewed my appropriate paranoia, and now I'm going back to what I used to do and put tape and also camera covers on top of the PCs. I always assumed that Julian Assange and Edward Snowden were the villains of the story. It was actually revealed that the NSA was forcing companies to provide backdoors. And these companies like Google and Facebook, they get a free pass because they're kind of acting as a confidential informant. Schneier had a positive view of Snowden, and the fact that he was able to reveal this information kind of changed the whole way we look at security and privacy. I'm not sure if he did it in the right way, and that's where I have to disagree with Schneier. Why go to Hong Kong to talk about your own country's failings? Whistleblowing should be kept within the borders of the country. This is probably why he's stuck in Russia, because of the unfair court system that the US has. In my opinion, I think it would have been a better decision to go to, say, CBS with 60 Minutes or even NPR and give them an interview. And he may have been protected that way. And speaking of espionage, Russia in 2020, very recent, actually made a backdoor into a software of a company called SolarWinds. This provided Russia with very intimate detail about the US, maybe the US government, and some of the biggest companies within the US. The way Schneier puts it is that this is all legal as long as we were in a war, and that the US actually practices the same thing on other countries. So there's really nothing they could do. As Schneier continues to reinforce over and over again, the government needs to do better. There's no reason why they are surveilling every US citizen all the time. I agree that this probably has a low success rate, and it probably doesn't prevent the crime. Alternatively, although it doesn't prevent the crime, I personally think that it may prevent subsequent crimes, so this may be beneficial in a way. Many of the US states have begun cyber attack legislation. About 20 states have taken better measures to protect the government information within the state. Other states are addressing the ransomware attacks. With people like Schneier in the US, it'll actually force them to make change and take action. But it's going to take more than just Schneier. It's going to take a large group of us to actually put our foot down. The problem of it all is I think that we feel powerless because the NSA is kind of above the law. Schneier not only wants to break ignorance with his literature, he also wants to find a way to reform how we use data. He seems to have a hope for the change for better in civilization. I agree that in many environments, this data can be useful, not only in safety, but in advertising. But as stated in a movie I recently saw, Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.